everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of Take the Black Live, the only show on the internet where we talk about things the rest of the mainstream media, I said it won't talk about, like dragons, lasers, sci-fi, fantasy, movies, and television. I am Dan Selcke, the editor of winterscoming.net, here with my co-host of X Years, Mia Johnson of dorksideoftheforce.com, who today is your last ever show, Mia, and we're a little upset about that, but we can't be too much because we have another guest we have to introduce. This is Natalie Zamora, the fan-sided entertainment director, who is going to be talking with us today about a special program that she is an expert on. But first, Mia, I understand you have a book.
Well, I have something from a book publisher, and I'm happy to kick off my last show showing this off. So I'm gonna have to step out of my seat to show y'all this because it is ginormous. So
They're exclusive, people.
Here we go. Okay, and I hope you all can still hear me. This is Marvel blacklight poster. It is huge, by the way, so I'm trying to get the whole thing in the shot. And let me read you. This is called the Marvel Classic Blacklight Collectible Poster Portfolio. It comes in at $125 USD, and with it you get 12. I say 12 wonderful, beautiful blacklight photos. And it's kind of strange. It's like when I feel like I'm on QVC or something. Like when you hold it up to a phone light, or kind of like I've got my ring light, they do kind of, this is a bad example, but they do kind of reflect. So if I open this up, they're gonna go all spilling out because I took the plastic off. But yeah, thank you to Abram Books for sending that over to me. I'm gonna have to build like a man cave or something just to fit all of those in there. But it looks really, really cool. I mean, you got Iron Man and I think some of the X-Men and stuff like that.
I actually don't know what is a blacklight poster.
It's like, so you know, like if you go bowling or you go to like, what is that, laser tag, and they've got those lights and then your shirt starts glowing. I think it's just UV light. So you use UV light and it makes the whatever it is glow in a special way. So I have to go get like a UV light on Amazon now as well.
And by the way, we're having many commenters here weighing in on your imminent departure, Mia. Mia, where are you going? Asked Jen. Sad face. But if you're going to bigger, better things, you do you, girl. Simply, Dan, no. Yes, Miller said. Christian says no as well. That's a popular one. Great fist that happens to shake. But yes, it is your last show, and we're going to miss you very, very much. We'll make this last show a one to remember.
Thank you. Wait, can I wear one last thing? I know this was impromptu. I also got this. Ooh. I don't know. I'm like making all sorts of. It is a prop heavy episode. This was not sent to me, by the way. This I had to buy. Collector's edition Loki series headgear with a certificate of authentication. I can wear the Sylvie one because it's like, there we go. It's kind of like Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
it fits kind of nicely. The Loki one is heavy AF, so I'm not going to put that one on, but I won't wear it for the duration of the show. I want to hear about what Natalie wants to talk about. That's enough of me.
I mean, that's exciting though. I love it. We have props. Also, I want to say, when you go, we'll have to have a little Funko in the studio to remember you, and you can name which one it is. I think that'll be a good going away present.
Oh, that's wonderful. I like that.
Yes. While we process our emotions, Natalie. So the reason I wanted to have you on today is because you are a fan of the television Showtime program Dexter, which is about a happy, a serial murderer, but he's nice. And Showtime revived it for Dexter New Blood, starring Michael C. Hall, and you've watched the first 4 episodes? I just want to get your opinion on what do you think? Will this please fans of the show?
So I think so. The main reason I think that they decided to have this revival 8 years later is because a lot of people were very unhappy with the way the original Dexter ended after 8 seasons, which I know Game of Thrones fans can understand that. You guys understand that it's impossible to make everyone happy. It really is. No, I'm saying you can understand people being upset about it.
Sure.
And a whole outrage. So Dexter season 8 ended on a cliffhanger, which doesn't really make sense because it's the end of the show. There wasn't closure, which I didn't necessarily mind. I am someone that I don't need all the answers. It's okay. But I did just really love the original show. So I was happy that they're going to bring it back. So yes, I watched the first 4 episodes and I do really like it. I think the premiere started things off kind of with a bang. We got to see where Dexter is living now. He used to live in Miami working in forensics, and now he's living in a fictional town called Iron Lake, New York, which is really, really small. And he has a totally new identity. He goes by a different name. And he just has a low-key job and is trying to start a new life. And obviously I won't get into too many spoilers, but in the premiere, we do find out that he still has this dark passenger. Yep. And he still does want to kill people. But like you said, he is nice. His whole thing is that he's a vigilante. He only kills people who have escaped the system and have killed other people, but haven't, gone to prison for it. So I think that it's not too toxic to root for him. I don't feel too problematic liking him as a character.
That was always like the hook, right? That like, let's make a serial murderer likable and like have you root for him. I mean, I don't know. I can think of a problem with like a rogue vigilante who like super cop is going to go after them. But I enjoyed the show too back when it was on. It was always a good show. So like, is the new one different appreciably from the classic show, or does it feel like you never left?
It feels like we never left, honestly. Like, I mean, it's a different location, like I said, and this takes place 10 years after the events of the season 8 finale, but it has the same vibe. It has the same tone, which I appreciate that. It seems like there isn't too much lost time, and I'm kind of just right back into Dexter's life just as a new guy, but we still get, his narration, his classic narration.
Right.
I just really love him as a character. He's very, very interesting, and you're always just waiting for him to get caught. So it has the similar vibe there.
Do you want this new season to end with him finally getting caught and brought to a kind of justice? Or is this like the start of a whole new Dexter series or something?
Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, it is being called a mini series, but as we've seen a million times, that doesn't really matter. People will still make second seasons, third seasons. So I think it depends of the audience reaction. I think Michael C. Hall, who plays Dexter, is happy to be back in this role and would probably do it longer. Yeah, so I would take either. I think it depends how the next few episodes go, because right now by the end of episode 4, it's kind of a turning point.
Sure.
And I guess, yeah, if they can pull it off and the rest of it is good, I would take more seasons. And I think I would be a little bit bitter if Dexter got caught. I would be a little mad.
Again, that's our attention. Like we should want the murderer to get caught, I guess, maybe morality, whatever. But he's just so nice. We can't let it happen. What was I going to ask? Well, I don't remember. Mia, did you ever watch Dexter?
I have not watched Dexter. I don't think we had Showtime. I think it was a little bit ahead of my time as well. I don't remember when it first came out, but probably not something that a kid should be watching. So I don't know anything about Dexter. Sounds very fun though. I mean, especially the vigilante thing. It's reminding me of like Suicide Squad, where these are like actual super villains and things like that, but I'm into that. So I don't know if I can invest the time into Dexter, but I do think I was actually kind of interested to hear Natalie say that she is interested in potentially having more of this, when sometimes people are like, okay, well, let the past be the past and kind of done and over it, or maybe let's just have a one-off. Because I said that about Supernatural in a post today. I was like, they don't need to bring it back. If they really, really wanted to, I'd be fine with like a 1-hour special. But, otherwise it's like everything has been said and done. But I guess apparently not for Dexter, which is, pretty cool.
That's a good question, actually. Like, Natalie, if somebody came into this never having seen Dexter, the story of a heavy murderer kills bad people, would that work, do you think? Or do you have to have seen the rest of it, or at least some of the rest of it, to get what's going on?
Yeah, so I think technically you don't have to watch the original, but I think you would enjoy this one a lot more if you watch the original. But I think things are kind of explained as they go on, and
Sure.
you know, Dexter has a whole new life now, so it is a new chapter, a new story. But you would enjoy the new one a lot
Cool.
more, definitely. Yeah.
As Julie says, I hope he gets caught, sent to prison for life. So we have a nay vote in the chat. I'm all for it. Julie, I'm going to say it. I think murder is wrong. I know it's a controversial stance, but I'm going to stand by it.
See, the way that I feel, though, I know the show You on Netflix, a lot of people compare that to Dexter, which I watch
definitely.
You. Yeah, I watch You just because guilty pleasure, but like Dexter is so much better. And I think Joe Goldberg from You should get caught. He's a bad person, not likable, just totally root against him. But for Dexter, I have more heart for him.
My final question was going to be how is he finding murderers who aren't getting caught up in small town New York? Is he still killing one every episode? And
how is he disposing of bodies is the main question in a small town.
I mean, it does sound kind of fun. It does sound intriguing, but is he still finding among this 40,000 town several people who are just out there murdering that he can take down?
So I'll say, just for the premiere, because that's the only one that's out so far. Sure. Yeah. There's been one person, so it's not like a spree anymore. And Dexter has kind of turned a new leaf, or so he thought. He hasn't murdered anyone or hadn't murdered anyone in 10 years. But of course, the show is the show. It wouldn't be entertaining if he stayed that way. So he's not on his spree, but he finds someone.
It'd be pretty funny if he didn't kill anybody at all. Yeah. The show is just about his new life, like mowing lawns and shoveling snow. Any other thoughts, Natalie? Hopes, wishes, dreams before we move on?
I hope people like it, because I was telling you, Dan, before we started recording, that I think it is good. It's not as good as the original, but I am kind of nervous that my nostalgia and just love for the original show is influencing how I feel about it. So I hope other people enjoy it too.
I completely get that. Yeah, there are things that I wonder if I went back and watched them, if it would still be the same thing. I wonder if I would still like Buffy as much as I did back when I was a kid if I watched it now. I don't know. Chat, is there any movie or TV show that you think you might only like because it hit you at the right time in the right way, nostalgic times? I bet there is. WiC Club. All right, shall we move on, or do we have any other thoughts on this topic?
Let's continue.
Okay, let's do it. And Julie says, and drug dealing queen of the South. Okay, I'm boring. I think it's a Sopranos reference, but I'm not entirely sure. All right, for Mia, for your last show, I wanted to check back in one more time before you go on House of the Dragon. You know, this is a Game of Thrones podcast, began as. We got our roots in Westeros, sunk under the skin, and this prequel series is getting closer and closer. House of the Dragon, set 200 years before, going to be and I guess that's what we're talking about. There have been some people out there talking recently, Matt Smith, who plays Daemon Targaryen, and Miguel Sapochnik, who directs it, about and the question before you guys and the group out there is, how close to Game of Thrones should this show be, and how much should they strike out on their own in order to become their own thing? For example, Matt Smith, who again is a pretty important character, he says it's impossible for this show to ever really succeed in the way that Thrones did. But we're trying to make a show that's entertaining in lots of different levels and has a similar scope and ambition to the previous show in many respects. But obviously, you're never going to be able to recreate the success of Game of Thrones, because that was a very particular point in time. It was its own unique entity. And they're
got
just
a very posh, I was going to say posh accent for Matt Smith. He's got kind of like something going on in the back there when he's, doing his thing.
That was not a Matt Smith I did. That was just general, first British thing that came into my head. I was not, I don't know much more to do it. But, and then the director's talking about how Miguel Sapochnik, that He thinks it's important the franchise evolve, not the same story, not the same characters, and it needs to visually evolve. But at the same time, people want to see Game of Thrones. We shouldn't shortchange them on that. That's my question for the group is, just how much should it stay the same? How much should they be aiming to give people more of what they want? And how much should they be trying to do something, make a brand new show?
Yeah, I guess when I kind of hear this, my immediate thought, and maybe as, I always say as someone, with like 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the fandom, I think my initial perception of the show will just be that it is Game of Thrones. It is like Game of Thrones. And, you would have to be very nitpicky in order for me to say, oh, this isn't, this is its own show or its own brand. I think there are ways to surprise people. And, like I man, for the life of me, I can't think of how they could do that. But it seems like a scenario that has happened before where I was like, I'm expecting, something to be similar to this. And then it's like, wow, this isn't like it at all. But yeah, just because it's, Targaryens and it's dragons and it's, you still got all the drama, internal and external going on. I'm like, I think it will probably be, probably a close match to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and I feel like it doesn't need to be that different. I think Game of Thrones set a good formula, of course, based on the books, but, killing off main characters and just things that became so, synonymous with Game of Thrones and that, the whole cultural impact on that it had. And I think that it doesn't need to be too different in terms of that formula, but I think that, the story is going to be different. We're going to be getting into the Targaryen history. So that's something everyone is interested in. And I think if they really just go deep in that, then it'll be fine.
I kind of agree with you. I felt like Game of Thrones ended and people had not gotten enough. Like, I do kind of feel like that. It doesn't need to be that crazy different. And it's not, by the way, because the story they're telling, I know because I read that book. I mean, it's different. It has different characters and everything, but like it hits some of the same notes. Like you're still going to have the betrayals and the battles and the families fighting and the politicking and the kind of jockeying for power. Like all the things people liked about Game of Thrones, I think are very much here in this story. At the same time, it doesn't have to be its own thing. Like I remember, like, is there any show that like was a spin-off? Like, okay, when I was a kid, I liked Frasier a lot. I didn't know it was a spin-off of Cheers. Like, I just liked Frasier. Like, I wonder if it could become something like that. Like, could this stand completely on its own? I think it could, because technically it is a wholly different story. Like, there doesn't have to be one explicit reference, and there can't be because no one's born yet. So I guess best of both worlds, it could be completely its own thing while still continuing the tone of the original. And so I'm hoping for a Frasier situation where it's just as good, if not better than Cheers. There, I said it.
You know what? The only thing that comes to mind is the whole Seth MacFarlane suite of cartoons, which I have watched, unfortunately, a lot of times. And funny enough, I think that's the one or the first idea that comes to mind where it's like, okay, you think about Family Guy. And then I just remember watching American Dad as a kid, and I was like, this isn't like Family Guy. They look like it, but I don't like it. I ended up liking it afterwards. But between like that and then, there was like Cleveland Show, those like were all, somehow completely different cartoons. Like it might have been produced by the same person, but when you get different writers and different ideas and all those sorts of things going, it does, start to take shape and become its own thing. So I definitely do think that is a possibility. Like if you've got a new writer's room and you've got different people interpreting the text and the characters, there will be some sort of different vision that comes out of it.
I'm looking forward to it. It's a tight line to walk, but I think they could find a lot of gold if they walk it the right way. And we have some great comments here that they look pretty good, and I'm kind of eager to read about the difference. As Jen says, I don't want the gore to change. I'm sorry, gonna say it. I want to see male parts swing just like the original. Male parts. Wait, Do you mean like arms and legs or other male parts? Because I think you might be getting
arms
all
and
of
legs.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was one really, I don't even want to describe it. There was one scene that I think with the Unsullied that made me stop watching it because it was just like too brutal for me. So I would love less of that, but you know, if they create like an edited version of that, I would definitely watch it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And Jen confirms she does want the pickle. I think you'll get it, Jen, because frankly, the attitudes around nudity in premium cable have changed since Game of Thrones was on. It's much more common to be to kind of close the nudity gap nowadays. Like I was just reading about the Wheel of Time show, and the actress was like, "Oh yeah, that more men get naked than women on this show." And part of me is like, "But the Wheel of Time doesn't have naked people at all." But then the other part of me, at least the books don't. I guess they're going to add some in, and they're adding some in because Game of Thrones made them. Realize this.
Oh yeah.
So Jen, I think you'll get what you want, and I'm sure there'll be lots of gore too. What other comments do we got here? That's a really good one. Julie hopes. Sorry.
They're going wild. I can't closing the laptop.
I'm happy. Keep them coming. Julie says she hopes it's better, but will be happy as long as it's as good. Would like to be its own brand though. And yeah, I agree. Just the line to walk will be the key. As Christian says, the same quality of cinematography, writing, and acting, but a different feel for a different era. Perfect. I love it. Mm-hmm. And Jen wants the rawness like the original, but to be their own thing. I agree. Yeah, I think we're on the same page. Mm-hmm. And there's more.
No, yeah, you're all trying to trigger me. Thanks a lot on my last day. Just kidding.
We'll make everyone to remember we had to. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I think it's the show that I'm most looking forward to. I'm obviously biased, but I think it does look really good. How about you, Natalie? Like, is this something you're looking forward to, or just like another in a long line of shows on the horizon?
No, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm super excited. And I didn't love the ending of Game of Thrones, but I wasn't someone that was like, this is the worst show. Like, I'm totally disregarding it. You know, I still think it's a great show. So yeah, I'm really excited.
And as Jen says, you know when Jen Casey's here, which I agree. We do. It's unmistakable. All right, let's move on to, and this is for the group also, of course, what are we watching? Because I forget it. Yeah, what are we watching?
Oh, I was like, are we going to do the Targaryens?
Oh, sure. Richard, I'm sorry to make you do this. Could you put this up there? I just like this image. It's House of the Dragon is filming in Spain and in Cáceres. I'm not sure how to say it. And just, I thought it was funny, like the...
Cáceres, sorry.
Cáceres, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the town hall, like that is City Hall putting up Targaryen flags to honor the folk filming there. I think it's pretty fun. Put up more Targaryen starred flags on an actual government building. Good for them. Okay. Anyway, what are we watching? And I guess the question here is, what are we watching? Mia, are you watching anything?
Yeah. Well, I watched a fun little movie this week. I went to a screening for Encanto, which is from Disney, of, you know, my heart. And it's one of Walt Disney Pictures animated films. So, you know, in line with Frozen and Rapunzel and all those movies. You know, they've gone like completely 3D. So I just have to say that I really, really enjoyed it. It's about this family. They live in Colombia and they have this like magic house, and the magic house grants the family magic powers, except for this one, our main character, who just doesn't get any superpowers. And, you know, it's kind of a bummer. I also think she kind of looks like me because she's got round glasses and curly hair, but not super duper like me, but enough to make me be like, oh, yay. But no, yeah, it's the typical Disney charm. You know, there's songs, I think by, I think Lin-Manuel Miranda did this as well. You know, he did Moana. So they're like, you know, they always like to bring back the favorites. And what else? Oh, one of the characters even looks like The Rock's character from Moana, Maui. I was like, it's just him with like, you know, different skin color.
Perhaps the reason assets get cheap over there, Disney.
Yeah. I was like, okay, you know, maybe we can get, you know, this is Disney. Let's get creative with the animation. But I mean, for kids, I think they're going to love it. I'm going to watch it again at some point. And yeah, it's just really beautiful. Lots of great colors, lots of great songs, and it makes you cry. So that's what I watched.
That's great. Would you say that like where is it on like the scale of Moana and Frozen and Tangled? Somewhere in there. Upper tier, lower tier, middle tier of the recent
I wouldn't
3D
say
Disney stuff.
Lower. I think, which is funny, Raya and the Last Dragon to me was kind of low, even though I liked it.
Sure.
But it didn't have the music. So I would say it's pretty middle upper. Frozen and Tangled I've kind of watched a lot anyway, so that's in me now, so I can't not like it. So I think this one is going to be one of the classics where you start seeing the characters everywhere, and they're going to incorporate them in the parks and on Disney Plus and all that stuff. So it is kind of weird to watch the birth of like a new IP. You're like,
right.
Here it goes.
We're so not used to that now.
Yeah. So I thought I was going to say something else. Oh, it comes out November 24th, only in theaters, but it'll be on Disney
You got
Plus
to
at
see
some
it
point.
early.
Yes.
How about you, Natalie? You watched anything?
Yes, watching Succession, of course. I know you guys are as well. I love this season, but I'm also watching I Know What You Did Last Summer, the new reboot TV show. So I started it because I had nothing to watch, and I was like, let me just throw this on, see how bad it is. And it's really not bad. I'm sticking through it. And I binged like 7 episodes last weekend, just like so fast. And I thought to myself, all right, I guess I enjoy this because I just watched so much of it. But yeah, it's very teen. So if that's not your style, I wouldn't recommend it. But it reminds me of Pretty Little Liars, which I had a soft spot in my heart for in high school and all that. So I'm enjoying it, I have to admit.
Could I ask, is it just like a retelling of the movie, which itself was a Scream knockoff, or is it like, or is it like the movie happened and now it's like the sequel or something?
It's a retelling, but it's different characters. So in the original, it was about, a group of friends, and this one, it's about a group of friends as well, but it's about 2 twins, and that kind of, I don't want to spoil it if anyone's interested, but that comes into play. It's actually kind of a different look at it, which I appreciated.
Cool. Yeah, I got screeners for it. I didn't ask for them, but I got them.
Yeah, they keep showing up in my inbox.
So perhaps I'll have to check it out. We got some great comments here. What y'all watching? Jen's watching the Curse of Oak Island reality show. Christian, is Spell for Chameleon vibe? Is that a show, or are you just saying fun words? Jen wants to see Cobra Kai. And Julie, always the great taste. Finished watching Warrior. Loved it for season 3. I'm so glad I could turn people on to that because that like. Have you ever watched Warrior?
I have not. I know what you're talking about, but I have not.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. I thought it was really, really good. Saw Eternals, wasn't bad, but not great. I think Mia would be more or less in your camp there, but you should think for yourself. Session so good. And watching Shadowhunters, which is definitely a popular show that I think is over now. Shadowhunters, I forget. And I came up to the rear, and I'm way late, but I finally started to watch Squid Game. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I see why folk were going crazy over it.
Yay.
Very kind of pulls you into the next one with a pretty good force. I like it. I like its creativity. And I enjoy like a good satire, I feel like it's hard to do a good satire really well. I'm not quite sure why. It's like, cause it really kind of, you get to target things really, really exactly. And this one has like a sense of humor and a sense of whimsy, but also horrifying. And kind of rattles around in the head in a fun, appealing way. I like it. As Jen says, she won't watch that. Any reason, Jen? But yeah, don't blame me. That's fine. I think it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it.
To Christian's point about the movie, so Spell for a Chameleon is a book. I just brushed up on it, and it says someone who doesn't have magical talent. From the brief Wikipedia synopsis that I read, I don't think this is like that book. The whole point or conflict within Encanto is about, okay, the girl doesn't have any special powers, but, somehow the house begins to lose its special powers. And, she wants to do everything she can to help, but they're like, well, you don't have power, so butt out and stop trying to make a mess of things. And, trials ensue from there.
Gotcha.
So I mean, unless that is like a spell like a chameleon, then Disney totally ripped it off. But I don't think that's the case.
Disney wouldn't do that. They're above that. I think ideas. But yeah, I mean, good stuff going on right now. And we got the Wheel of Time coming out, and we got that Cup of Gift thing, looks kind of cool. Lots of good stuff. Succession is so good. It's such a good show. When Logan was kind of giving that speech about how he loves Kendall, he was right next to him, but might have been like a ploy in front of that horrible Adrian Brody character. I was really involved in that. That aired, right? Yeah, that aired.
Not to me. I still haven't made it through season 3, so.
Oh, damn.
I will forget though.
Well,
that didn't even sound like
Yeah.
a spoiler. So I'm cool.
Okay. Adrian Brody sucks. Well, no, he's great. He's an Oscar winner, but his character was very unpleasant.
Ooh.
All right. And finally, we have the WiC News Lightning Round, where we go over several news stories we couldn't fit into the main thing and give our 20-second opinions on them. And I wrote this one to be for 2 people, but it's going to be for 3. So we're not going to know what we're talking about, and that's fine. See how it goes. All right. I will start with one I'm pretty sure that any of us could answer. And then, so Natalie, I'll give you one, and then you give me one, and you give me one. And then we'll repeat. Okay, Natalie, 20 seconds on the clock. Gal Gadot will play the evil queen in Disney's Snow White remake. Thoughts?
See, I don't know how I feel about Gal Gadot after the whole COVID, song thing that went on.
Fiasco.
Yeah, the fiasco. I'm not a fan of hers, but I'm not the biggest fan. So I don't know. I saw some people loving this casting, some people totally hating it, which will be interesting to see.
Very cool.
Perfect.
I agree.
Okay, so Mia.
Oh no. Yes.
All right. So tell us about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone director.
Oh wait, no,
That's fine. Go around. Whatever,
okay,
man. It
okay.
doesn't matter at all.
I know. I was like, do I go in order or one that you might know things about? I'll go to Harry Potter. So Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone, yes, director wants to make Cursed Child movie with the original actors.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I think his whole reasoning, he was like, well, they're old enough to play these parts now because they're parents and it's supposed to be about their kids and the play. Sure, I'm not a super duper fan of the play or the story that goes on. I really wish it wasn't canon. I hope it's not canon. So I mean, it would be exciting, but they can do bigger and better things. I mean, Emma Watson really.
Bigger and better.
Okay, Dan, here's the question that Natalie spared me from.
Okay.
Netflix wraps production on Vikings Valhalla season 2. Season 1 isn't even out yet.
Yeah. Such a weird story. Like Vikings was a huge hit for history, and somehow Netflix got to do the spin-off. They must have paid like up the nose for that. And they're really going hard. They're filming like 3 seasons ahead of time. They want to make sure they corner the market on this historical, epic, full of boats drama. And good for them. I mean, because the show's getting so expensive. All right. You know The Last Airbender a little bit, right, Natalie?
I do not.
Okay, never mind. Okay. Hopefully, do you know Wicked? I'm just going to ask it and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo land the roles of Glinda and Elphaba in the long gestating Wicked musical movie.
Yeah, this should be interesting. So I've actually never seen Wicked before. I'm not a huge musical person. I'm sorry, Mia, but I am an Ariana Grande fan, and I also saw this being like divisive reactions on Twitter of people being upset and not upset, but she did do the kind of like TV production of it.
I'm intrigued, but we can't ask me follow-up questions. That's the rule. Okay.
All right. So I'll ask Dan about the last Avatar, last Airbender. Daniel Day Kim is Fire Lord Ozai in Avatar: The Last Airbender remake.
Yeah, very exciting. Daniel Day Kim was a great actor. He's been in a lot of stuff. That's a pretty big name. And this remake, this live action remake of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is the greatest animated show that was ever created. It needs some like kind of oomph, I think, to get people to like it again. And casting, like making good cast choices like this, I think is a good way to get people on its side. So I'm all for this. Okay. Mia, what else we got? Okay. Any thoughts on the new Stranger Things teaser where 11 and company are in California?
Oh, yeah, I've like literally just saw the screenshot, and I think our video or our photo. I'm wasting time. Looks cool. What the heck is 11 doing in a normal, school and all that stuff? I'm anxious to find out. They've been doing a lot of great teasers so far, so it looks like it could be an exciting season 4. I hope it comes soon. Ooh, yeah.
Okay. I think the last two are like ones that only I will care about, or no. Well, do we have any top 100 fans in the audience? It's a no. So perhaps just one more.
Let's see. Or Natalie. Oh, okay. Here's one from the WiC site. Natalie, let's just, your first reaction. Brian Cox felt silly for turning down a Game of Thrones role.
I did see that headline and I didn't have time to read the article. Interesting. I've never heard of this. So now I need to know, it was the role disclosed. He would be okay. He would be fantastic in Game of Thrones, just knowing how cutthroat he can be in Succession. So
yeah,
interesting.
I feel like Tywin Lannister. Like I think Lord Commander Mormont would have been a perfect one for him, but not to be.
Yeah. It said he was like offered a role pretty early on, and he was like, no one knew what it was, so he's like, nah. Which, I mean, he's a great Logan Roy though, so I gotta hand it to him.
So good.
Pick the right show.
Christian loves Wicked. I'm looking forward to that Wicked thing too, frankly. Oh yeah. So Mia, are you into Wicked? You're a Wicked booster?
I can sing Wicked front to back. I think I saw it like in 7th grade, so it was more than 10 years ago, and it's kind of like my go-to musical. When I first found out about it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such like a huge musical fan. And then it was like, well, I really only like Wicked, and we don't have money to afford to go see the other musicals. So that's just kind of been like my like one go-to for such a long time. So I'm iffy. I think Cynthia is great. Ariana is going to take some warming up too.
I think she'd be good as Glinda though, right? Because she's kind of like airy and like has like a pop princess thing going on, and that's Glinda, right?
She's got the soprano for it. So I mean, that's for sure.
I could see it. Yeah. Okay, I think we should shut this down. This has been a very fun and chaotic, unpredictable round of WiC News Lightning Round. And just take the last minute to say, this is your last show, Mia. This has been great. I've really liked doing this show with you. If you're ever able to come back for a guest spot, that would be terrific. The readers definitely want you. Several folk talked about that. But I obviously wish you the absolute best. I hope you get everything in life you want and more. And I think you should pick out a Funko for me to buy to have in the set, so we can always have a little reminder of you. Maybe a Loki, whatever you want.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess if I could say something, I mean, yeah, I've had a blast doing this show. And it's kind of funny, when I used to watch with the old hosts and stuff like that, I was like, oh man, I wish I could do a podcast for Fansided. That just looks so cool. And then it was like, oh, well, here you go. Here's the opportunity. And I mean, I think I've been doing it since like the middle or so of 2019. And I was like, oh my gosh, how time
that long?
flies. So yeah, I mean, I've just enjoyed getting to chat with you, Dan, and when guests like Natalie come on and stuff like that, and reading the comments. You guys are too much in the comments, especially today. So I really appreciated that we had a great live one today. And yeah, if maybe something, maybe like Loki season 2, I'll come back as like a guest commentator expert or something like that.
Yeah. only now what you really want to talk about. That would be the nice perk of it. All right, I think we can end on that. Thanks for watching, you guys. Natalie, thanks for coming by. And for the future, just so you know, guys, the basic plan is I'm going to rotate through some other guest hosts, and we're not sure. Maybe I'll just rotate forever. Maybe one will settle. Maybe it'll be you. We'll see, and we will find out. Josh was good, Julie, but Josh is so busy. Josh is busy trying to. I can't go anywhere with that. I was trying to make a wait. Never mind. We'll see if we can get Josh back on. That'd be fun. And of course, we stream live every Wednesday on the Winners Coming YouTube page and Facebook page at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're also available in podcast form from Google Play, iTunes, wherever podcasts are downloadable. And yes, Jen, Josh is a skinny guy. And hopefully we will see you guys back here then, and we'll go to the next leg of this journey together. Thanks for watching and have a great night. Bye.
Bye.